y'all, I am Mazelleɣ. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's
do not have an understanding of what it means to be a Pan-African.
Dear Black Americans, can we just give up on this whole Pan-African one love, brotherhood of man and sisterhood and all this, we are one and all that? Listen, let me tell you the reality on the ground, yeah? The average Ghanaian wants to go where you've come from. Let me tell you that is a fact. I've worked for the British High Commission before for many years. I've seen Ghanaians come in with documents showing they've sold their land, taxis, houses, even farmland, just to raise the money to get a visa to go to the UK. All this preaching about Malcolm X and what's the other one, Marcus Garvey, and we are all one. Sister, brother, they are not interested in that. Let me teach you tree today. Yehia sika. Yehia sika. We need money because the average Ghanaian needs money to chop, to eat, to pay school fees, to open up his kiosk every morning to sell. The reality on the ground is life is hard in Ghana. They all want that life that you don't want. I'm a prime example. It's like we've crossed lives. We in the West, we want to come to Africa to enjoy because we're done with there. We've been there, done it, seen it. They also want to go there to do it, see it, done it there, to get money, to build houses, to have a better future. Some Ghanaians hate Ghana. Let me tell you, I know Ghanaians that say they hate Ghana for everything that it stands for. So please, all this coming in like you are the black savior to come and teach Africans about pride and self-worth and knowing that you're an African and coming to teach and preach. Sister, brother, save your breath. They're not interested. They don't even know what you're talking about because for them it's survival. It's survival. Every day in this Africa is a survival. Light off, no water, living conditions. And you're here coming to talk about Marcus Garvey. That's not going to feed anyone here. If you want to come and embrace Africa with all your beads and all your braids and your your dreadlocks and your dashiki, and you want to have that true African experience, wonderful. But leave the Africans alone to fight for their lives and get on with their lives. The preaching is enough, please.
So she had a lot to say in this video. I think that in order for the message to be received, you definitely have to listen to the whole video for you to kind of know maybe where she was coming from. So yeah. So first of all, I would like to say that Pan-Africanism is not foreign to Ghana. It's not a foreign ideology. It's not a foreign concept. It was definitely an ideology that Kwame Nkrumah believed in. He spent some time in America. He spent time with African Americans. He actually went to a historically black university, Lincoln University. He saw the struggles that African Americans were going through during the civil rights movement. He was able to see the similarities that Ghanaians were also going through, trying to gain their independence from Britain. So he was able to see a similarity between the struggles, and he was able to also share that, African Americans, you can definitely get what you want by fighting for yourselves, not waiting for anybody else to do it for you. And he also preached the same with Ghanaians. We can't you can't sit back and wait for people to change the situation. You have to fight for, the independence of Ghana in order for those things to happen. And it's because of this closer relationship that he developed with African Americans that he invited Dr. Martin Luther King to his inauguration when he became president of Ghana. So yeah, Pan-Africanism is not foreign to Ghana at all, historically. The reason why African Americans, because, she was responding to a lady that was talking about Pan-Africanism. And so I'm talking as an African American here at this point, as I always do. I don't know why I said it like that. The reason why African Americans push Pan-Africanism so much and wanted to, to be the way they want it to be. Like when you hear African Americans on social media, when they go to Ghana and they want that welcoming mat, they want people to welcome them because they want to have a sense of belonging. They want to have a sense of belonging. As an African American, to know that your ancestors were taken from somewhere in Africa, we can just assume that's West African country somewhere in one of those West African countries, and shipped to the United States of America and not know the beginning, to only be able to trace your ancestry so far and not to be able to not to be able to trace it any further than that, is a feeling that only African Americans will understand, and only African Americans will understand. Even when you talk to Jamaicans and Haitians and people from the Caribbean, even though that they're also part of that transatlantic situation, it's different for them because the majority is they are the majority in Jamaica, they are the majority in Haiti. So it's a different situation than when you are a minority in your own country, if that makes any sense. So it's different for African Americans, and that's the reason why African Americans push it so hard with the Pan-Africanism, because it's like you are trying to find where you belong. And if you have this strong connection to the African continent, there's a lineage there. You want there to be unity so that you can know that you belong somewhere, that when you go somewhere, you belong somewhere. When you go to a country in Africa, you belong there. You're not going there to just visit. You're not going there to just pass by. You're going there to live. You're going there to find a sense of who you are. And that is so important to a group of people, to be able to know their identity. And that's what the lady at the beginning was talking about, and why Pan-Africanism is preached so much in the Black community when it comes to some African Americans, not all, but some African Americans. They do say, do talk about it a lot. And I know on my channel, I always talk about the unification of both of these groups of people because it's important to African Americans. It's important to some African Americans to have that connection and to have that unity, so that we will know that there's a place that we can go to call home if we would like to. So that's the reason why I think that she needs to understand it from that aspect, to understand why it's important. Now, it is not a secret that there are some Ghanaians who don't want to be in Ghana, and there's some African Americans who don't want to be in the United States of America. That's everywhere you go. And leaving one country to go to another country, it's always different factors involved for the reason of that. But I know that there are a lot of Ghanaians who don't want to leave out of Ghana, who definitely know how life is in the United States of America, and they are content staying where they are. When you come to the United States of America, you definitely will see what Americans have to go through. Everything that glitters is not gold. America definitely is a country that is known for a lot of propaganda, and one of the propaganda that America has a good time showing is that America is the land of opportunity, that you can come there, you can live this American dream, and you can live the good life. In the reality, though, most Americans are not living the good life in the United States of America. Working 40 hours, sometimes more than 40 hours a week, with barely any vacation time, hardly able to take leave, barely any maternity leave, no paternity leave, not able to save any money. A lot of that you will find a lot of Americans facing in the United States of America. Very difficult to live. A lot of Americans are surviving. And when some people from the African countries, they come and they see that it's difficult to live, a lot of them want to go back home. I watched the documentary about people from African countries that were coming to America under the notion that they were going to be able to, work and make good money and send it back home and have this comfortable living. And they realized it wasn't like that. They were working, and was barely any income coming from that work. And so, that is what Americans want people to see. It is not all that it's cracked up to be. You're not just going to go over there and be working and making this good money and all that kind of stuff. It's not happening like that for a lot of Americans. So it's difficult to live in the United States of America, and that's the reason why there are some Americans who are wanting to move out. Sometimes when I watch social media, sometimes on the videos that I watch on social media, some of the kind of perception that some African Americans tend to have when it comes to Ghana is a lot of times negative. And that's because they are trying to fit an American standard into a Ghanaian standard. And that's never going to happen. Ghana has its own standards and America has its own standards. And if you're planning on moving to Ghana, you have to know the standards, you got to learn the standards, you have to understand it, and you got to accept it. And if you can't do that, then it's going to be very difficult then for you to adapt to it. There are some African Americans who will go to Ghana and complain about the way they do business. They would complain about the way, the culture is. They would complain about the way the country is. They would complain about the people. A lot of times, some African Americans are very negative in their perception on Ghanaian people simply because you don't want to understand this is how they are. One of the words they love to throw around is getting scammed. They love that word, getting scammed in Ghana. They love to throw that around. And then you have to start asking those questions. Did you get scammed in this particular African country because you had a standard of what you thought the business was going to be? Did you have a standard of what you thought, the situation was going to go, and the standards were different? Did it ever occur to you that you needed to look at the standards of that particular country in Africa? Did it ever occur to you that you had to look at the standards of Ghana to see what the standard is and follow that? When you hear some African Americans talk, you will see that they didn't follow the standards simply because they didn't agree with how the standards were. And because the standards didn't match the American standards, then that means the standards are lower. That means the standards are deceitful. That means the standards are beneath them. And so that's the kind of language that you kind of hear talking with some African Americans when they're still having this very Americanized, westernized superiority attitude when it comes to countries in Africa, instead of remembering that things are different there. I think she wasn't saying that Ghanaians don't like African Americans. She wasn't saying that African Americans don't need to come to Ghana. She wasn't saying that. She was saying that when you come there, come with a different mindset. Don't come into the Ghana thinking that you're going to teach Ghanaians about unity and teach them about all this other kind of stuff, because a lot of them are not thinking in regards to that. If you're coming to the country because you want to live there, because you want to build there, and you're going to be working like Ghanaians, hey, come on. They're not going to have a problem with you doing any of that. They're going to go on with their day-to-day lives. They see you on a tra-tra. They're going to go get on the tra-tra. They're going to go where they're supposed to go. They see you at the marketplace. They're going to do their shopping, and they're going to go and do what they need to do. They're not going to sit there and worry about you. They're not going to be worrying about you whatsoever. They have their own lives to live than sitting here trying to worry about African Americans and what we doing. They're not caring about that. So I understood what she was saying, because some African Americans, when you hear them talk, they do believe that Ghana is going to stop what they're doing because they got off the plane at the Kotoka International Airport and made their way in Ghana, and they think Ghana is going to stop what they're doing to come and welcome them. And that's what she's saying. Don't come to Ghana with this type of superiority attitude, thinking you're going to teach Ghanaians anything, thinking that you're going to teach them some new way of life, some new way of thinking, or anything like that. But as far as people caring that I'm African American, nobody cares about that. And I think that that's something that needs to be said. When African Americans are going to Ghana, they don't care. Okay, they are living their lives and they don't care that you're there. They might be happy that you're there. They're going to welcome you if you happen to walk into their shop or whatever. But they're not going to be sitting around caring one way or the other that that an African American has come to Ghana to visit or whatever. Like, they living, and that's what she's saying. They're living. they're genuinely living. All right, you all. That's all I have to say about the subject. I am Michele Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.